Why, hello. It's great to see you again. Here I am with my trusty whiteboard. We're going to talk about a lesson about the chromatic scale and whole steps and half steps. And so first, before we dive into that, we have to understand what a whole step and what a half step is. So you know that these two notes, first two notes of like the C major scale. And what we can do is we're going to talk about a whole step and a half step. So the half steps are, if you were to use, there's two options to them. There could either be a flat or a sharp. And we know that a sharp raises up a half step and a flat lowers a half step. So one half step above C, as we know it, is called C sharp. And one half step below D, as we know it, is called D flat. This isn't a new concept to us. And so you kind of have to know how to put them all together. So I'm going to write out a full chromatic scale. We have C, we have C sharp, D flat, and then to D, D sharp, E flat, E. Now, E to F, common misconception, E to F is a half step. There is no E, well, an E sharp does exist, but E sharp is F. And so, and if you look at a piano, it's more outlined that way. Then we have F sharp, G flat, then to G, then we have G sharp, A flat, then to A sharp, B flat, to B, and then if you were to do the math, B, a half step up from B, brings you back to C. Now, B to C does not have a whole step, or sorry, does not have a half step in between it. B to C is a half step. And so I'm also going to show you a really, really unique trick that I learned when I was in college. And so if you draw two fours and a one, and then three fours and a one, so it's just 4 4 1 4 4 4 1, and then you draw a line underneath, you've made a piano. There's the keys, and this is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So it's a really neat way to write a piano if you ever really needed to write a piano really fast. It's kind of cool. I've used it a bunch of times. So C to C sharp, that is the black key above C. This is where you can see the C to C sharp to D, to there, to D sharp, E flat, right there. Then E to F. There is no black key in between E and F, all right? And so that's why these are a half step. So F flat, it does exist, but it is known as E natural. All right. It just depends on the key signature that you're in. That's what you would use that for. So depending on the key signature, that's what those are for. Now, one half step is just simply one spot moved. I just dropped my marker and made a mark on my shirt, I think. Ah. All right, I'm back. So one spot is a half step on the chromatic scale. So if you move from C to C sharp, that's a half step. If you move from C sharp to D, that's a half step. So one half step from here to there. Now, the important piece, and this is going to be really important when we're doing intervals next, is that you do not count the note you're starting on as a half step. And that's important because that'll rear its head later. So the biggest important piece you need to know is a half step is just one spot on this scale. So C to C sharp, C to D flat, that is a half step. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, half step, whole step, I failed fractions, so well, obviously, if you didn't fail fractions, you know that two halves make a whole. So a whole step is just simply 1 and 2. Two half steps. That's all it is. So C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step because it's 1, 2 steps. Okay? E to F is a half step, not a whole step, because E to F sharp would be a whole step. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, two halves equal a whole. That's pretty much it. You need two half steps to make a whole step. This is your chromatic scale. Everything you need to know for the next lesson is there. So, but if you don't understand this, you're not going to understand the next couple steps. And when we get more and more complex, if you don't get this, you're not going to get everything else because everything builds off of this. So Ask me questions if you got them. Otherwise, there it is. Chromatic scale, whole steps, half steps. Later.